Hey guys, Mark with a C here. I got a question for you. Have you ever lost something that felt so tragic at the time, but later found out that it was one of the biggest blessings that you could receive? Yes, I read it off of a page because I got something to share with you that I think will help you greatly. About 9 months ago, I lost my Facebook account. It got permanently deactivated with no warning, with no chance of getting it back. Yes, I have my notes because I'm trying to paint a picture here of how bad and tragic this was for me. My Facebook account was 10 years old. I had lifetime friends on that account that I was able to connect with, share my life with. I'm talking childhood friends from school, from high school, on my Facebook, all gone. I didn't have their phone numbers or contact info. I just lost contact with any of them instantly. I'm an entrepreneur, so I run my business on Facebook. Facebook was my jam. I was running ads on Facebook. Here's another thing, or another few things I lost instantly when I lost my Facebook account. I lost all of my business pages, my Facebook business pages, and my Facebook groups that were connected to those business pages. When I lost my business pages, I had the vanity URLs. So The Wealthy Trainer, which is my brand, I secured that URL, facebook.com/thewealthytrainer, gone. I have a company called Branding YOUniversity. I secured that vanity URL within my Facebook account, gone. Not to mention the ads I was running on those two business pages. I had other business pages. Laboom Squad, I had the Wolfpack Gang for my network marketing company and my team. These are all Facebook pages connected to the account that I instantly got deactivated. My groups that were connected to these pages had thousands, thousands of members, gone. Now we're going to get into the income that I lost. 90% of my income as an online marketer entrepreneur was from Facebook ads. 90%. So I was starting to scale my ads. I was getting really good at Facebook ads. I was starting to break through. I was in the thousands per day and I was going up. I was figuring out the ad game. And guess what? Just as I was growing, gone. But it gets even worse. Just wait. I'm going to go quick, but it gets worse. All of my skills that I was starting to master with, I'd say 5 years experience in online marketing were on Facebook. That's where all of my skills were. That's how I was building audiences. That's how I was running ads that were converting and they were starting to scale. It was all Facebook based. All of my knowledge, my skills. So I said that 90% of my overall income to put food on the table and buy the nice things I can buy were from Facebook. But 90% of my skills were for Facebook. Now be clear, I could not get a new account. I could not only not restore the account that they deactivated, I communicated with them and they said, not in a million years. That account, everything's been deleted. There is no getting it back. And when I tried to open a second account, a new account, basically starting over, I couldn't. They could either recognize me. I use different computers. Sometimes I'd open a Facebook account for a little while. That would get shut down. They had a way of identifying me. Like I was kind of like Facebook's most wanted. And it gets even worse. I got one more thing. All of my personal development came from Facebook. Not Facebook per se, but I had strategically subscribed to leaders that I wanted to learn from. So I wasn't searching on YouTube randomly every night to get my personal development, my education. I was subscribed to my Ty Lopez, to my Gary Vee, to my Grant Cardone, so that every day I would wake up and there would be my personal development laid out for me. I would do that with I had about 50 leaders. So Facebook was feeding me, providing me with all of my education every day on a silver platter. That's a huge loss. So would you say that's tragic for a guy like me? I would say so. The question I asked you was, have you ever lost something that felt tragic at the time, comma, but later found out that it was one of the biggest blessings you could receive? Tragic, blessing. I don't know about that. How can that turn into a blessing, right? You ever have something tragic like that happen to you? Yes, I'm sure you have. Maybe not losing your Facebook account, maybe something worse, maybe something not as bad. I'm not quite sure, but something tragic has happened to you. Am I putting you in a good mood? Am I brightening your day? Think of the tragic thing that happened to you. I want you to think about it. Think about it really, really hard. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. It was bad. It was bad. I crawled into a corner in fetal position and cried myself to sleep for a long time because I couldn't get it back. I was in a state of despair, and took me a while to suck it up, Buttercup, if you know what I mean, and grow some kahunas, for a lack of better terms. So why was this a blessing for me? It was a blessing because it forced me to go and look in directions. It pushed me. It literally, almost like I was physically getting pushed off the plank of a ship. And off that plank was not my comfort zone. I had to forcefully go into situations and look in places because, well, number one, I had zero income. Number two, I had to learn stuff fast. And number three, probably the most important one, I had to get out of that mental state. Without going into details on this, because this is a whole other topic, but I was starting to relapse. I'm an ex-addict. I'm an ex-alcoholic. I'm an ex-drug addict. I was dabbling in the relapses. I was falling apart. I was losing my mind. So I had two choices. I could either spiral down into depression or pick myself up and start looking really, really hard at what my options were. So what did I do? I went on LinkedIn. I went on YouTube for my ads. I found I had tons of time because I wasn't farting around on social media, and I got on 16 platforms. I got on all 16 that I could find, and I started putting content on all 16 and learning them a little bit at the time, or should I say a little bit at a time. So for my replacement for Facebook, I went on LinkedIn. What did that do? That alone changed everything. Let me tell you, LinkedIn is professionals. It's not a bunch of gossip. I'll leave that at that. My whole state of mind of when I went to work in the morning, communicating with professionals on LinkedIn opposed to gossipers on Facebook, that changed everything immediately. My whole state of mind was more professional. So were my connections. In the first 2 weeks on LinkedIn, Bob Proctor connected with me. I messaged Bob Proctor and I said, "Are you really Bob Proctor?" He goes, "Absolutely, I like your profile. Do you know Tony Robbins personally?" I'm like, whoa. Then Russell Brunson, then Dan Pena. Then when Dan Loke connected, I connected with him, he connected back. I said, if Dan Loke, or Dan Locke, whatever you want to call him, if he talks to me, this is it. Why are people not using LinkedIn instead of Facebook? And he did. So that just kind of brought me into a new area of business that I didn't even know existed. I was never doing LinkedIn. When I got on LinkedIn, I was at 500 connections. Today, I'm at 14,000. On Facebook, I had 5,000 friends. I was limited in my network of 5,000. On LinkedIn, my Rolodex is unlimited. I'm talking 14,000 connections on my personal organic profile here. I tried LinkedIn ads, not so good at them, so I went to YouTube ads, and my entire business is off the chain right now. I found a mentor, Alex, on YouTube, because I'm doing YouTube pre-roll ads, and how to position my ad in front of a video so my ad looks like the video that people are searching, so they sit through the ad. I don't explain the strategy, but some of the strategies he's teaching me right now are to scale to 1 million a month. I said 1 million a month. I couldn't touch that on Facebook. I wasn't even thinking that big. But with YouTube ads, it's all connected to Google. I won't get into it, but I was shown a world that I would have never even looked. I was locked up in the Facebook, little Facebook kind of like jail. I was like oblivious to all the other possibilities out there. It was crazy. When I found out YouTube ads, I don't teach them. I don't talk about them much because they're kind of like my hidden little secret. Way better than Facebook. Like, there's no scenario where a Facebook ad is better than a YouTube ad. You have to learn how to do YouTube ads. What else am I going to do? I learned them and I'm getting good at them, but I'm not teaching them because, I'm keeping it to myself for now. I may teach them later on, but they're blowing away what I knew with Facebook. The time now. The time I was spending on Facebook, whether it was Messenger or whether it was just going through my timeline, Facebook has got to be the closest digital social platform to probably cocaine. It's crazy. You get on Facebook. Well, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. I used to get on Facebook, look at the clock, and a half hour just went by. And I'm like, where did that half hour go? Sometimes an hour. And I'm like, okay, what did I do? I must document what am I even looking at? Personal development aside, it was a time thief. LinkedIn is not. Well, I forced myself for it not to be. But here's my point. Since I've been off Facebook, the time I've been getting back allowed me to create. This is huge for me. You may understand if you go to thewealthytrainer.com. I probably shouldn't be link dropping in a piece of content that's trying to help you with the topic today. But I was able to build that brand resume, that blog, 500 pieces of quality content, all full-on blog posts, searchable, a whole content library in a matter of 3 months that would have been the time I would have spent on Facebook. So blessing, check. Blessed for that one. Being off Facebook gave me the opportunity to get into podcasting. Not only podcasting, but I'm syndicating my podcast now to 7 platforms. Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio. I'm on all of them. And when I syndicate an episode, it gave me the time to learn that skill, give me the time to know how to take a piece of content, strip the sound, and syndicate it to all those platforms with no extra time. My skills are 100x better than when I had my Facebook account. I was encapsulated in only Facebook knowledge, limiting what was out there. And I didn't even know it. So here's the thing. When I had my Facebook account, as a matter of fact, let me say this now, I am back on Facebook with a different account. And now that I'm back on Facebook with a different account, all I do is I run ads from it, and the ads I'm running from Facebook don't even compare to what I'm doing on YouTube or Pinterest for that matter. I'm at 900,000 monthly viewers on Pinterest. Another platform I would have never ever considered even looking at. Now I've got almost 1 million monthly viewers on Pinterest. I was going to show you, I was going to flip the phone. But yeah, so I don't know when you're seeing this piece of content, but I'll be at over 1 million monthly viewers. The ads are insane on Pinterest because buyers go to Pinterest. They don't compare to Facebook. I'm on Facebook, I'm back on Facebook, and I'm not using Facebook. It makes me realize that the horrible thing that happened to me was actually a blessing. Because I'm back on Facebook and I'm not even using Facebook. I'm like, I don't even want to use you anymore. You didn't do me any good. You helped me learn some things. You helped me learn some skills that I could transfer over to other platforms, marketing stuff that was independent from Facebook anyways. Here's what happened in the end. I could put in one sentence. I am no longer a Facebook voluntary hostage. I am now free. And I got to get a little poetic on you guys. I used to think Facebook was my prism when it is in fact my prison. You like that? I wrote that, trademarked. If you don't know what a prism is like a triangular crystal that when you put a beam of light in it, it puts out the seven colors. So one beam of light into 7 beautiful colors. I thought Facebook was my prism. I did. Go into Facebook and bright colors of Marc to the world when it was in fact my prison. If Facebook did not deactivate my account, I would have never found all these other options. I would have never even looked. I would have stayed caged in and limited in that little hole, or should I say that little box called Facebook, and I would have been satisfied. I would have said, why can't I'm struggling with scaling to 1 million a month. You can do that pretty easily on YouTube. You can do that pretty easily on YouTube, by the way. You probably can do it pretty easily on Facebook. I just wouldn't know how, but I learned how to do it pretty quickly on YouTube. Mind you, I had kind of an angry focus. So I was like, I need to learn this. I'm going to buy every course. I'm going to try everything. So I kind of cracked that code quick, but I also have previous knowledge. I did transfer some knowledge. I'm not a Facebook hater. I learned a lot from it, but they were keeping me boxed in when I didn't even know it. So what's the lesson here? I told you my story. I'm going to give you kind of like the lesson of this for yourself. And I actually wrote it down in the theme of being completely transparent. When a door closes, bigger doors start opening, but they may not open immediately, and you must keep your eyes open for them, or even better, search for them. Let me narrate what I wrote down. When something tragic happens, there are open doors. They're there. They're going to start popping up, but it may not be right away. That's what I just said. But here's the real big one. If you're not looking for them, if you're sulking, if you're crying about what just happened, you can do that. Take a day or two, depending on how bad your tragedy was. But you must pick yourself up and start looking, observe, search actively for open doors. You will find them. I hope this content has helped you. Have an amazing day. Marc Lalonde signing off. Bye-bye now. Thank you for watching or listening. I hope this content has helped you in any way, maybe motivated, inspired you. Maybe it's triggered an idea. Maybe it's gotten you out of a rut. Maybe it's simply entertained you. Listen, I'm just an ex-computer consultant guy who lost his way to drugs and alcohol and eventually became homeless. From rock bottom, I cleaned up, I clawed my way back into the workforce. I shifted into running my own business. I've been retired from the corporate world for 7 years now, and I've never looked back. If you want to follow me on my journey or maybe even connect further, you can either go to my blog at thewealthytrainer.com. That's thewealthytrainer.com, or you can click the link in the description if you're watching this video. Marc Lalonde signing off, and I'll see you on the inside. Bye-bye now.